Okay guys, so what we're going to look at doing today is moving on from the perimeter of semi and quarter circles to being able to find the arc length and then the perimeter of any sector. Okay, so the only difference from finding the perimeter of a half circle or a quarter circle is that your fractions are going to be slightly different. Okay, so firstly, this is quite a standard one, and you did have one as the very last question of the last lesson. So this will hopefully help those of you that were not sure how to answer this one. But if we want the perimeter, okay, we're going to want the arc length, and we're going to want to add, the straight parts to that as well. Okay, so first step, writing down what our radius and diameter are. Our radius is 4, so our diameter must be 8. Our arc length is going to be the fraction of the circle we've got, okay, of the whole circumference, which is pi times diameter. So we're going to have to work out 3/4 of pi times 8, which is pi times 8, 25.1. If we go to one decimal place, and 25.1, we want 3/4 of that. So if I want to work out 3/4 of 25.1, okay, there's two ways I can do it. Okay, I can either just put the fraction button into my calculator, okay, and then I can say 3/4 and then multiply by 25.1, okay, like this, and then press the SD button and we're going to get 18.8. okay, or for those of you that don't have a scientific calculator, if we're looking for 3/4 of 25.1, let's find 1/4 of it by dividing by 4, and then let's times it by 3 to get to 3/4, and again you get 18.8, the same answer. Okay, now we've worked out the arc length, guys. We now just need to add on the two straight edges. Okay, so we're going to add on 4 and then add on 4 again, which is going to give us, we're adding on 8 to that, 26.8 centimeters. Okay, 26.8 centimeters. Now, this next question, okay, we're again going to need to work out our arc length and then add on these two parts here. Okay, now they're both the radius, so they're both going to be 6. Okay, and while we're making note that the radius is 6, we should write down that the radius is 6 and the diameter is 12. Now we need to work out what fraction of the circle that we've got. Now we know that that angle all the way around would be 360 degrees. Okay? We have got 60 degrees worth of that circle out of 360 degrees. So we can just use 60 over 360 as our fraction. We've got 60 degrees out of 360. That's the easiest way of doing this. Okay? So if we're working out the arc length, I'm just going to check that we can still see that. Okay, we're going to do the fraction of the circle that we've got times by the circumference. So 60 360ths times by pi times 12. And 12 pi is 37.7. Okay, so let's work out our fraction of that. So we should get 6.3 for that. And then we've just got to add on this straight part and this straight part. 18.3 centimetres. Okay? So it's the same process, guys. Work out what fraction of the circle that you've got. This one's easy, it's 3/4 of a circle. This one was a bit trickier. We had to know that there's 360 degrees in a circle, so we've got 60 out of 360 degrees. This one, I'm going to let you do, so please pause the video, guys, and have a go at this question before I answer it. Okay, guys, so the fraction of my circle is 120 out of 360. We've got 120 degrees out of that whole circle, and we want that fraction of the whole circumference. Now, I need to go back and do my first step. If I know that the radius is 8, I know that the diameter is 16. This step here stops me making any daft mistakes, okay? So, I can now substitute in my diameter. So now I need to do 120 360ths multiplied by 16 pi. Okay, now 16 pi, I'm just going to use the calculator for, is 50.3. Okay, I need to work out that fraction of 50.3. And I get 16.8. Okay, but I've not done yet because that's only the arc length. I then need to add on these two parts. And that's going to give us 32.8 centimetres. Now guys, if you don't have a scientific calculator, I want you to use 3.14 as your approximation for pi, okay? You should get very similar answers. If you're getting, say, 0.7 or 0.9 at the end of this question that you've had a go at, and you're using this approximation, don't worry about it, okay? Only worry about it if you're miles away. If your answer's completely wrong, just check that you've remembered to add on the straight part of the shape, okay? The easy mistake to make with this is to work out the curved shape perfectly and to miss out either one or both of the straight parts of the sector, okay?